This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com. Hello my friends, the Game Boy Geek here. Today, together, we're going to be counting down from 10, 9, all the way down to 1. Because we're playing a classic card game called 10 Down. This is for 3 to 5 players. This is like it's a new game, but it feels like a classic game. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. Down is a simple card game where you're trying to be the first person to get 10 tokens. Each player is dealt 10 cards at the beginning of the game. These cards are always kept secret from the other players, but I've placed them down the table so you can see them. What you're trying to do is get it so that you have 1 through 10, because you have 10 exact cards, and when you do so, you can turn those cards in for what's called a 10 down and get some tokens. So that's what you're trying to do, is get 1 through 10. Now again, this is usually secret in your hand, but there's always the 3 piles out there in a draw deck. On your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to draw a card, put it in your hand, and then discard a card. When you draw a card, you can draw the top card from any of these 3 piles, or you can draw the top one up here. Now, I want to draw this green 5, so I'll take the 5. Now that I've taken it from this pile, I got to keep it, and I'll put it here. And I will get rid of a card. Maybe I get rid of one of these duplicate 7s, because you're never going to have 2 of the same number when you turn them in. Let's throw down the red one. Boom. That would be my entire turn. It'd be someone else's turn. Maybe someone else pulls a card, puts a card, pulls one off the top, and then discards one, and so on and so forth. It comes back to me, and we're trying to do this again. So what you're trying to do is get 1 through 10. In addition to that, you're trying the best you can to also get some color runs. I have at least 3. So right here I have 3, 4, 5, and those are in green, and that's good because we're trying to get those together. Actually, I have a 2 here as well. So what you're trying to do is get 1 through 10. Let's fast forward just a little bit. So let's say it's later in the game, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and another 8. Let's say I know I need a 10. I don't see a 10 here. I draw one off the top, and lucky me, I get a 10. So I will replace that with the 8, and I now have 1 through 10. At the end of your turn, you can throw your cards down and say 10 down. Now you automatically get 1 token for getting the 10 down. It doesn't matter what color tokens you take in this normal game. So I have a token. Now, in addition to that, anytime I have a color run of 3 or more, I'm going to get additional tokens. If you have one of 3, I will get an additional token. Again, the color doesn't matter, but in this case, I just took orange to remember that I just scored for orange. Now, if I have more than 3, right here, I have 2, 3, 4, 5. For the first 3 in the run, I will get a token, and every card after that, I'll get an additional token. So I got 3, 1, and the second one for this. If this 1 was a green, I would get yet another one. So after 3, you start getting more and more of these. Now, after that's done, you would take these, and all of these cards, you'd shuffle them up with these, and you deal yourself out 10 new cards, and put 3 in the center and sort of start the round over again. This continues until someone has 10, and that's the end of the game. There's also an advanced variant to play of the game, which can be really fun. Everyone will get dealt one of these mission cards. These mission cards look something like this, and some of them have 3 on there and some have 4. What this means is to win the game, you need to have exactly 4 red tokens, 3 orange, and 3 green. Or sometimes you might need 4 different colors of different amounts. So let's say this was my mission card. This is always kept secret. No one knows what I'm going for, but you can look at it anytime you want. Now let's say at the end of my turn, I do a 10 down like I normally would. Let's say I have played these cards there. Now, unlike the normal game, where you would just get a token for doing the 10 down on itself, you don't get that. What you do is you only score for the runs. So in this case, let's say I have a 1, 2, 3 of orange and a 4th of orange. So like normal, I would get 1 orange token, and this is where this color of the tokens really matter. I get 1 orange for the 1, 2, 3, and I get an additional 1 for the 4. So there's 2 orange tokens there, and I've already fulfilled my orange. I'm done with orange. I don't care about orange for the entire rest of the game because more does me no good. And here I have 3 yellow, so I would get 1 for having that run of 3, and then that would be the end of this turn because I don't have any other bigger runs. All these would get shuffled like normal. We'd start another round, and now I know that I have 2 orange and 1 yellow. I've got orange done and yellow's half done. And you don't get that token for the 10 down. And that's interesting because then you will win when you have fulfilled all of your card's obligations. Now in the base game, it is possible to win without having won any other rounds. You win one round of the game. If you get 1 through 10 of the same color, you automatically get the 10 tokens and win the game outright. But this is only in the base game, and there's 2 cards of every one in the game, I believe. So it is hard to do. It's possible, but other people might be going for short, quick runs, getting maybe 1 or 2 tokens at a time, and they might be destroying you. But you might go for this and just beat everybody and pull the carpet out from beneath them. I like light little card games that I can, introduce people that aren't playing a whole lot of games into. I like games that remind me like I'm playing cards with my grandma, and this certainly does that. It has the classic feel. It has the classic look. I mean, I almost felt like I was transported into the 70s and early 80s playing like Racco with my grandma as I was playing this. Not that the game feels like Racco, but just that look and feel of it and the simplicity of it. Now, the thing I liked about this game is it is super simple. It's like, hey, pick up a card, put it in your hand, discard a card. That's it. That's the whole game. But there is some layers of depth there. You're trying to figure out what you should get. You're trying to press your luck to say, hey, look, I've got 3 yellows in a row. I've got another one that's 1 away. If I wait for that 1 yellow, I'll get 3 tokens instead of just 1. Oh man, do I just go now and just try to do it quickly again and spin my hand and try to get some tokens, or do I really wait for that card? And there's some good decisions with that, trying to figure out which ones to get with. So overall, I think the game is really fun. In the base game, it's just fine. It works fine. I like it a lot. There is that weird thing where some of you can have like 7 or 8 tokens working on the last one, and one guy's sitting over there with nothing. And then at the very end, he might do 1 through 10 all in one color. It's cool that you know that that's possible, and it's cool if you know that someone's doing that because they have no tokens, and you're trying to puts tension on you. And if you're not the person doing that, that's a really cool aspect of the game because it's making you want to rush, putting a lot of tension on you. It changes maybe what you're going to do because you want to rush it out. But if you're the person doing that, it's not a very fun way to play the game because you're just sitting there trying to get the card. If it's not there, I'll draw. Next turn, I'll get there, I'll draw. So I like that aspect of the game from the non-player aspect, but I don't like playing that way because for me that's boring. Now the advanced variant takes that out. There's basically, you can do that, but you're more apt to go after the other things because you've got those special things that you're trying to get over, like 2 greens and 3 purples. And that game is really a lot more thinky. You really have to decide which colors you're going for. You really got to stick with them and work with them. And it's interesting, like, oh, I got yellow. I don't care about yellow for the rest of the game, and it really focuses you. That part I really like, that it makes it more focused and more thinky, and the game goes a little slower, but it's still fine. On the flip side, the problem to that is it actually makes the problem worse that towards the end of the game, you're just drawing cards. Because it's like, well, I'm done with these 3 colors. I just need this 1 color to finish, and I'm just going to, that's not there, I'll draw one off the top. Come around and I'll draw one off the top. So it's tough. I think I really like the thinkiness of the advanced game, but I don't like how it slows down towards the end and it just becomes a luck draw at the end, trying to get that last card to get your thing. Versus the other game seems a little bit more open, a little bit more free, and it flows a little bit better. So I'm not really sure. I'll still probably play both here and there, but overall I really did like this game. This is sort of that genre of no thanks where it's super simple to teach, but there's some layers of depth there. Now I'd say No Thanks probably has a little bit more interesting going on, but this still has a layer of depth in that level of simplicity, and it's why I like this game enough that I'm keeping it in my collection. And for that, let's induct it into my gaming library with a saxophone serenade. This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.